So let's start with your name.
I'm sorry, I have a little problem hearing.
Could you say your name?
Robert L. Are we on?
Yep, we're on.
My name is Robert L. Rieke. It's R-I-E-K-E.
R-I-K,
R-I-E-K-E.
R-I-E-K-E. All right. And where are you originally from?
I was born and raised in Shawnee, Kansas.
Shawnee, Kansas. Okay.
1924.
1924.
I'm 91.
Wow. Okay. And so you said that you started doing. You were a farm boy.
My father was at what we call truck gardeners, where we raised vegetables, lots of vegetables.
Lots of vegetables. And how long did you do that for?
Till I was 26. My father had died, and the conditions in the vegetable industry changed because of refrigeration and railroads and airlines, and the market value had dropped considerably due to refrigeration. And so my mother developed the land, and I bought her lots and built houses on all the homes down our farm. And then from then I just bought parcels of land from here and there and built and built and built.
So you stayed in Shawnee, but you just
primarily
went with a
until
different
about
business.
26 years, 30 years ago.
30 years. Wow.
And then I moved here to Olathe. I was heavily in the building industry, and my primary financier and landowner was here at that time. So I built lots of houses in the Havencroft area and generally around Olathe.
Okay. So what made you originally move from Shawnee to Olathe?
Well, I was divorced, and I gave my former wife our home there, and I had some houses here in Olathe, and I moved in one of those. And I later married a lady that I'd built a home for some years earlier, and so we married, and our children were all growing at that time. She had 3 children, I had 3, and so we married, and the children were all off to college, and she worked in the higher education industry, and I was heavily in the building business, and I had about 60 some houses in living quarters, duplexes and townhouses and houses, and I think I had 67 addresses in hand at that time.
Did that pay very well at the time?
Well, it was all speculative.
Speculatively.
You know, sometimes you'd done pretty well, and sometimes you didn't.
Right.
But it was always a struggle. You know, it was an open market, but it was always pretty well filled by other builders, which was fine. It was all competitors. And I enjoyed being an officer in the Kansas City Home Builders Association and the Olathe Builders Association. And I've done well in the industry.
So after that, you said that you started to build the spotlights.
I had the searchlights, yeah.
Searchlights.
I bought those to advertise the townhouse project I had. It was on sale for $1,300,000, I think. And I was trying to create some traffic, in which we did. And then after I owned them, people realized what was going on with them. So I developed quite a industry of rental searchlights for other businesses to attract attention.
That proved to be fruitful?
Well, it was fine. It was worth doing.
Which did you enjoy more, building houses or?
Oh, well, the searchlight thing was all after dark. I mean, that's when you run the lights, but during the daylight time, you had to maintain them. But the building industry was a full-time job all the time, and I enjoyed both of them.
So you were born in 1924, correct? So that was in time for a few U.S. wars. Were you in any of them?
No, I had lost my eardrum as a child, and I was refused to go into the Army, but I stayed on the farm.
How did you lose your eardrums, if you don't mind me asking?
I had diphtheria, and it was infected, and they took it out, and so I've not had an hearing in my left ear.
Wow, that must have been tough.
I haven't really paid attention to it. I have a hearing aid now, which I just got 6 or 8 years ago, but all my life I've gone without one. But it's more convenient with one.
Okay. So after the light building business, what happened after that? What did you move on to?
Well, I sold all my lights to various parts of the country, and in Connecticut and Nebraska and Missouri and Texas. And they're World War II product, and they were a very good machine, really well done. And so they were very durable. You just had to know what to do with them. And so it was a lot of hard work, nighttime work and driving long distances late at night and maybe overnight. So I finally got tired of that.
Yeah. So have you ever branched out living-wise outside of Kansas? Or
No,
was it
I'm
just
from Shawnee to Olathe.
Shawnee to Olathe? Hey, don't fix if it's not broken,
Right. No, it's been a good life.
So what did you enjoy doing outside of work, hobby-wise?
Well, I used to do a lot of hunting. The fall time.
Quail, deer,
All of it.
all sorts.
Made a movie one time with a fella from Connecticut, or New York, I guess he was. He had a company called World Outdoors Incorporated, and he was a one-man producer, and he had all kinds of cameras and equipment, and he had it in a car, in Willie's Jeep. And he had a contract with United Airlines and Abercrombie and Fitch and Remington Arms and a group of companies. And they contracted him to go through South Dakota and make a wildlife movie. So we started out in Mitchell, South Dakota, and we hunted quail and pheasants and grouse, and then we went fishing down through the state. We got down to the Black Hills, and I shot a buffalo, about a 1,700-pound buffalo, of which we field dressed and loaded it, and took it to the food locker there, and they processed it. And I shot an elk there. And so it was quite an experience, a lot of fun.
So you shot the video, or you were in the video, like
I shot it.
acting?
I was the actor.
Oh, okay. So you were the talent.
He was the cameraman, and my brother-in-law at the time was he was the gopher, and I was the guy doing the fishing and the shooting.
Nice. So you were the talent there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Nice. So you like hunting? Anything
Oh, I
else?
loved hunting. Yeah, I always had a group of men working, and we bought a school bus and turned the seats around and made card tables and put some mattress in the back of the bus for sleeping quarters. And then somebody always had to stay awake and sober enough to drive the bus. But we'd go to Torrington, Wyoming, and we'd have just a great hunting excursion there. And we'd camp out along the Laramie River. It was just a creek where we were, and we'd hunt for several days there, and we'd bring back 20 or 30 deer. And I used to take my pickup sometimes and bring it back, throw all those deer in the back of the truck, and all those legs standing up, and draw a lot of attention going down the road. But that was a lot of fun. And then you used to go to the Lake of the Ozarks and various lakes and ponds and fish. Every year we go to western Kansas and then up to South Dakota pheasant hunting.
So you're very outdoorsy.
Oh yeah, I
really
like
like
to.
the outdoors.
I always, that was my life, living outdoors on the farm and doing all those things.
And then building the houses also outside.
Oh, all the time.
So what do you do now for fun?
I have a garden out here at Aberdeen Village, and I've got a beautiful little garden out there, and I raise tomatoes, radishes, cucumbers, zucchini, squash, and beets, turnips, kohlrabies, and beans. So we have little plots out there, 4-foot squares, they're raised beds.
Over there?
Well, I just looked, yeah,
Somewhere.
way out there. And so we each get a plot, and then they developed more plots, and there were people that didn't take them, so I took the last one they had, and it's right next to mine. So I have a real nice garden spot out there.
How did you get into gardening? Just
Well,
like
that's
your
what I
outdoors?
was raised on a truck garden,
Oh, that's right.
and a truck garden is just raising vegetables. We had acres of tomatoes and cabbage and peppers and all those things. But we'd sell those on the city market and to AP and Kroger and Safeway, those chain stores we called them, and they'd call us every day at noon and give us an order, and then I'd deliver that in the afternoon about 4 o'clock to their warehouse, and they'd assemble it and take it to their stores overnight and be in their stores fresh the next morning. So that was hard work.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of around the clock.
Yeah, when I was a kid and started that, when I started as a child doing what I did, my father bought me a $1 watch and a little pad of paper and a pencil, and it was my chore. I was probably 12, 13, 14 years old, and we'd have about 50 bushel baskets of onion sets. And it was my chore to get those planted. Well, every afternoon after school, I'd go to the school, or after a little bit, kids go home and get their clothes changed. And I had the onions and what I needed, tools and everything, on the truck, and I'd go mark the rows off in the field, and then they would plant those onion bulbs. We get our
And they
onion.
grow up the next season, right?
What's that?
Or they grow up next season?
Oh yeah, well they grew up that season, that spring. We'd plant the seeds of those onions that spring, and those onions would make green onion, table onions, and we'd sow them real thick so they wouldn't get very large. And then we'd dig those in the summertime. It's just hot and dry, and bugs and weeds, and that was the job I hated the most.
Oh, yeah.
But we'd have to dig those, and then we'd put them in crates and store them